I'm not quite sure how to format some of it. So I've been reading different memoirs, and Isaac Asimov does a rough but not complete chronology, but by subject, rather than episode or weather. So I thought like I'd try it, and I'm using some of the pieces I did. I don't know. I don't think I did this last time. I hope Guilt? No. Okay. So
no, you did
I have Guilt 1, Guilt 2, and Guilt 3.
You did the one that you wrote for your kids.
Right. Guilt 1. A dark room. I am standing in my crib, holding myself up with the wooden white bars. The door opens, light and excited voices. I understand that I have done something terribly bad with my feces. Guilt 2, at the dinner table. This was one of the early stories I did. I must have been 7 or 8 for this first clear memory of huge guilt. After public school, I would walk with my friends to Hebrew school for classes which would last an hour and a half or two, language, customs and ceremonies, history. I did not resent those hours. The walk was fun. The stroll down the main street of Utica, passing houses, stores, even an empty, spooky, run-down large mansion, a haunted house. And I had a crush on Fritzi Zinger, an older girl in my Hebrew class, a silky, dark-haired Jewish refugee from Germany. One of my 2 best friends did not go to Hebrew school. My mother did not like Donnie Weitzman. She thought he was a bad influence on me, and he was. Tempting the rabbi's son into the illicit adventures that a good boy might find enticing. Donnie, Billy Sherman, and I were an inseparable trio, playing all the games we could think of, exploring fields of goldenrod, bulrushes by tiny creeks, and overgrown, abandoned fields, weeds and plants taller than our 7-year-old bodies, wrestling, playing soldiers. One warm, early spring afternoon, as I was about to walk to Hebrew school, Donnie stopped me and said, "Why don't we just go play? Nobody will ever know you didn't go to Hebrew school. It's a great day to play. We'll go in the fields and catch some animals. Just go home at the regular time. Nobody will know the difference." He was the leader of the triumvirate. I always followed his direction. Playing in the field that balmy spring day after a long, hard upstate New York winter sounded a lot better to me than sitting at Hebrew school. I don't remember what we did that afternoon, but I do remember Donnie saying to me that I ought to go home, that if I did not hurry, I might not get back later than usual, and my family would wonder where I was. I was late. My parents and older brother were seated around the dinner table. I could smell my favorite food as I came in the door, the spicy, aromatic, deliciously intoxicating scent of Hebrew national hot dogs. Toasted hot dog buns were on the table, with tasty sauerkraut and white-cooked potatoes, whose bland taste helped accentuate the strong hot dog and sauerkraut flavors. My mouth watered. I sat down to eat, but very quickly felt a curious and unfamiliar sustained silence, as if a play was about to begin, and everybody was looking at me as the main actor. Then my father turned his glance away and said to my mother and brother, "You know, we would have had perfect attendance at Hebrew school today except for one little boy." Oh my God. I'd forgotten that my father, principal of the Hebrew school, looked at the attendance records of each class every day.
Oh.
I was paralyzed. The hot dog and sauerkraut that tasted so good a second before became a congealed, sticky mass stuck in my throat. My face heated up. I began to sweat all over. My brother chimed in, my older brother who hated me for always tagging along behind him. "I'll bet that one little boy is really sorry for what he did." He smiled gleefully at me. A heavy, heavy, long silence. Everyone was looking at me. Stares like lead, dead weights. As angry and guilt-stricken as a 7-year-old can be, so was I at that moment. Sadness and pain and guilt engulfed my entire universe. Nothing else existed. Crying terribly and running upstairs to my bedroom. Mother comes up, and for one of the 2 times in my life that I remember, she hugs and kisses me. What pleasure did my father and brother get from that scene? That's the second one. The third one is guilt at Ebbets Field. Hot dogs seem to have played an important part of my life. We moved to wartime Brooklyn in 1943 when I was 10. The change from bucolic, peaceful upstate Utica was very difficult. The 5 of us lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. The first day of school, I came home with a list of 13 words I did not know. My mother washed my mouth out with soap. My brother was bedridden for 6 months, mistakenly diagnosed with rheumatic fever. My greatest consolation when I was not away at summer camp was listening to the radio while Red Barber broadcast the Brooklyn Dodgers games at Ebbets Field. I rode the BMT subway by myself to Ebbets Field most every Sunday the Dodgers were in town. I had my fare and money to buy soda, 25 cents for bleacher seats in right field. And that Sunday, I had a doubleheader to watch. The Dodgers were playing the Cincinnati Reds. Rex Barney, a teenager brought up from the minors, was pitching for the Dodgers. The talent available for baseball was limited in 1943 because of the wartime draft. Rex's fastball was spectacular. So was his wildness. He was loading the base with walks as I looked around to see if anybody was watching me. Nobody was looking. Everybody was fascinated with Rex Barney's fastball. Now was a perfect secret moment to finally taste forbidden meat. A non-kosher hot dog. What did non-kosher meat taste like? What was so special about it that it was forbidden? I never in my life tasted forbidden food, and my spirit yearned to cross the boundaries. No one was looking. I saw no one who knew me. I was completely anonymous. It was a perfect setting for this crime. Avoiding the counterman's look, I bought the hot dog and took it with me to the top of the bleacher stand to watch the game. Rex Barney had loaded the bases with walks, a tense moment in the game. I bit in the bun, waiting for a delicious taste. Ugh! It was awful. It was tasteless. It was disgustingly gooey. And then, I felt the awful pressure of 60,000 eyes watching me transgress the family tradition. 60,000 eyes accusing me. 60,000 knowing, baleful eyes aware of this onerous sin. I ran to the garbage can and barfed up the pig meat and everything else in my stomach. Disgusting! Just as bad as the sin itself was the knowledge that kosher hot dogs were infinitely better tasting than the forbidden meat.